Hi, I'm Richard Jeffries. I want to thank you for joining me on this webinar where we're going to talk about our mortgage-free program and how it's specifically designed to try and assist you become mortgage-free at least 10 years sooner. Just while I share my screen with you, I just want to talk about, firstly, what does it mean to be mortgage-free? Well, what ideally we're trying to do is save at least $100,000 in interest by just making some really small changes. We're trying to pay off your mortgage so you can become debt-free 10 years sooner. And in doing so, give you more options, give you more choices around what you're able to do in your life because you don't have that mortgage hanging over your head. So with a normal 30-year loan, which is what most of us take out when we buy a property and sign up for a mortgage, on 4%, you can see that the total interest we pay over that period is $287,478 based on those assumptions below. And it takes us, if we made those minimum repayments, it takes us 30 years to pay off the mortgage. What we're going to have a look at is how just by making some really small changes, by only actually paying an extra $120 a week, you can pay your home off 10 years sooner. And you can save over $100,000 in interest, which would make, I think you would agree, a massive difference to your own lifestyle and quality of life in the long term. So if we think about it, let's have a look at two examples of people who in the year 2040 would have had, if they purchased a property today, approximately in 20 years time, what's that going to look like for them if they took up the mortgage-free program and put that into place, or if they alternatively just chose to pay the minimum repayments and just accept a 30-year loan. So in 20 years, you've got an example of one couple who will be mortgage-free versus another couple, Mike and Susan, in this example, where they've still got $185,000 owing. So we're going to go through our mortgage-free program and we're going to have a look at how it can reduce financial angst that you might be experiencing, how it can build in financial reserves so you can ride out the next financial storm, how we can get rid of credit card debt, and then the main aim, which is becoming mortgage-free 10 years sooner. So who am I? I've been mortgage broking for over 15 years. So I've been helping people get mortgages approved for that time. And what I've noticed is that not a lot of people have a plan in place how they're going to pay off their home loan sooner. So now we've moved into helping people not only just get approved, but also how to get out of debt. Personally, I love living in Southeast Queensland. I think we're really fortunate to live here. I enjoy sort of all things outside, be it surfing, hiking, spending time in nature and whatnot. So the 5 steps we're going to cover in becoming mortgage free, we're going to start by first looking at your budget. Yes, none of us like that word, but that's something we need to cover off. We're going to then take a look at how you set up your accounts into different buckets so that it makes it systematic and automatic for you to stick to your plan of becoming mortgage-free sooner. We're going to talk about building an emergency fund and we're going to talk about getting rid of credit card debt. And then doing those things will allow us to become mortgage-free sooner. So is this training right for you? It's a really important question. It is for you when it comes to finances, you feel, and mortgages, you feel like you don't know where to start. It's for you if you might be scared of what you might find. It's for you if you just can't find the time between work and family. And it's for you if you sick of maybe arguing with your spouse about money issues. It's also for you if you feel like you have a lack of financial reserves and you're tired of not having as much in your account at the end of the month as you thought you would. It's also for you if you find it a challenge to keep track of your spending and to get financially ahead. Now, this webinar isn't for you if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme or you don't value your future. And it's not for you if you are prepared to change some habits and do a bit of hard work. It's also not for you if you're not interested in getting ahead and you just simply want to take on more debt without thinking about getting rid of the debt that is against the property you're living in. And it's also not for you if you're looking to skip some of the financial foundations. So ultimately, we here at Newbridge believe wealth is like health. Its utter absence can make you miserable, but once your real needs are met, having more provides diminishing emotional dividends. So why is this webinar different? Well, often a lot of Australians will go to their bank when they have financial needs, and then they may make the step to a financial advisor about how to build wealth or purchase an investment property, which a lot of us may not have a lot of guidance on. But there's not a lot of space in between. So we're aiming to help you get rid of that family mortgage, that mortgage on the family home. Why do we want to do that? Well, we believe that it's essential for the building blocks of financial freedom. The first 3 steps we're going to be covering today is around your budget, building cash reserves, and paying off your mortgage. Once you do those things, it makes it so much easier to then go and buy an investment property and work your way towards financial freedom. And what I can tell you is I've been where you are. I was sick and tired of being in the debit side. I was too busy to take care of my personal finances, despite the fact that I worked in this industry. I was uncomfortable about what I might find. I didn't really want to pull the rug up and see what I was spending money on. And to be honest, I was arrogant and careless. And I tried it all. I tried willpower. I tried having a credit card and paying that off at the end of every month. And I tried even withdrawing cash and just living off that cash amount that I withdraw, which, as you probably find today, is difficult because some places aren't accepting cash. But this program, Mortgage Free Program, I've found to really work in my day-to-day life. So we're going to start with the 5 steps. Step 1 is getting clarity on where your money is going at the moment. We need to know, once it hits your account, where is it going? What areas? We do that by completing an easily found budget on our website, which you can work your way through. Once we've done that, we then review areas to cut back. So we go through the budget, pull out pieces where we think we might be spending more than we need to, speak to those providers. We also review your mortgage, because for most people, your mortgage will be your biggest debt. So if we can make even a slight change in the interest rate, as you can see here, it can end up being several $100s per month in savings. One thing you may find that helps is comparing what you spend to what the national average is, to just highlight where some areas where you might be able to cut back. Step 3, then we look at your essential and non-essential items, and we split those into 2. We do that so we can then go give ourselves a target towards building an emergency fund. Step 4, this is my favourite part, is we set up your buckets. So we give each area its own account for money to go to, and then for you to spend from in that account. And we're basing this on the budget that you've done. So what that means is we're actually telling your money where to go. So for example, your money comes into your bills account, it then gets diverted to different accounts and allocated accordingly. So for your everyday living, that would include things like coffees, groceries, anything that you spend on tap and go. And we allocate a certain amount every week, for that. So it makes it really easy to track. You're not having to do spreadsheets and go back and look at what you spend. You're working out in advance what you're going to spend in that area and then sticking to it. So what is the difference between bills and everyday living? Well, bills are more things that are fixed and recurring. Everyday living are things that can change depending on, and fluctuate, and usually things that we spend by tap and go. So the benefits of separating your bills from your everyday living account is you and your partner potentially have worked out an agreed amount you're going to spend on groceries, fuel, coffee, eating out, entertainment, all those sort of things. It also simplifies it, makes it really easy, and it helps to keep you accountable by every week money going into that account. So then once we've done that, we also work out, based on the budget you've done, where are we going to put that surplus cash you've got at the end of every month or week? Firstly, we want to go towards building an emergency fund so that if something does go wrong, you've got money there to cover. Then we want to look at paying out personal debt. So that's things like credit cards and personal loans, debt that really doesn't serve you. I think If it is linked to an asset, like a car, it's usually not something that's going to go up in value. And then once we've got rid of that, we go towards contributing to the home loan. Why? Because that's where we can make all the difference to your financial future. Just by paying an extra $120 a week. In this example, we can save over 10 years from your home loan. Once we've done that, we automate and review. Automate the payments so that money is automatically going into those different buckets, and we review it. Make sure that it's achievable and realistic for you. So if we have a look at an example of two families, Brett and Amy on the left of screen there, they had not much money at the end of the month. They were constantly at credit card debt. They were fighting and they couldn't keep track of their money. Michael and Susan were pretty similar. They felt like this wasn't the life they'd signed up for. They both had good incomes, so they couldn't understand why. And they'd love to take a holiday and just have a bit of a break. So Brett and Amy decided to take up the mortgage-free program, review their spending, and once they did their budget, they worked out that they could save an extra $615 per month. So you can see from the details, Brett and Amy and Michael and Susan, each with two children, had very similar financial situations. Brett and Amy decided to take up the mortgage-free program. Michael and Susan thought that they'd just sit and not make any changes for the moment. They used their surplus cash to build an emergency fund, pay out credit card debt, and pay the extra into the home loan. So their budget looked at, or their bucket, sorry, looked a little bit like this. They had over $8,500 going from income, dropping into their bills, and then that money was diverted to different accounts with different spending intentions. The surplus cash, which you can see wasn't a huge amount, went into the credit card and then into the home loan. But that extra $760 they had every month paid their home loan off in 18 years, saving them over 10 years on their mortgage. By the year 2040, as you can see, Brett and Amy were debt-free. They owned their own home. Michael and Susan, they still had over $185,000 to try and pay off. So what does it come down to? It comes down to things, simple things like planning your spending, not buying on impulse, instead choosing to spend money when you planned it. Because we've got to remember, hope is not a strategy. And where will you be if things just keep going on the same? You'll see on the screen here is a couple of people that we've worked with already. But ultimately how we aim to assist you is helping you with an itemised budget, walking you through setting up that budget and the buckets, giving you a target, something to aim for financially, reviewing your home loan and reviewing your expenditure. Because at the end of the day, what would it mean if you were no longer worrying and fighting over money? You had a clear amount on the amount you used to spend. You could easily see the financial progress you're making, all while still maintaining your current lifestyle. So please contact us today. We'd love to help you become mortgage free sooner. Thank you.